Thank you for the listening to the Red Chat Podcast. Welcome to the Seavers.
All right, ready. Hey, what's up, you guys? Yes, welcome back to our...
Do not like that.
We should have pretended we got Shane Dawson on.
Wait, we still can. Do it again.
All right. Hi, guys. Welcome back to another podcast with everyone with the gals. I'm not a gal, though, so...
Honorary.
Today, we're going to talk about some urban legends and some theories, or what is it?
Cryptids.
Cryptids. Today, we're going to talk about cryptids, and we have... All four of us has some significant stories, and we're going to ask questionnaires for each other, and we're going to, do a little test. Only 3, I think.
I wanted to talk about our paranormal things we've been experiencing recently, but it's night and I'm scared, but I'm still gonna do it anyways. Do you want to start, Cassie?
So I don't remember. I kind of forgot when this happened, but it was. I want to say it was maybe a month ago. It was really early in the morning. It was probably 6, and nobody was awake yet. And I heard footsteps. It reminded me of my brother when he was running across the hallways. And I was like, no, that can't be, because I would have heard him talking, or something trying to not spook myself out. And then I fell back asleep. And then when I woke up again, everybody was awake, and I was asking them, I was like, oh, who was walking around the hallways, yada yada yada. And they're like, nobody was in the hallways, silly goose. And I was like, what do you mean?
Oh my
I
god.
heard it.
Oh, no.
And they're all like, no, we were asleep, you're crazy. And I was like, no, thank you.
Oh my gosh. That's so
It was
scary.
creepy. I know. And I was thinking about it the other day, because I was like, I was glad. I was like, woo, nothing paranormal or anything like that has happened to me, or in the house. And then that just had to happen, and I was like, are you serious?
It's always when you think that you're safe and in the clear that they come back and just give you a little scare.
Oh,
Just my
maybe
demons.
maybe it's the dead children in my... Oh, dead children. Shit.
Stop.
Maybe...
No, the one with the pool, the one I
Matthew's
kept
there.
the one I made fun of. I didn't mean
Maybe
it.
it's him.
He took a train to your house.
He booked it.
On it. Wait, I actually got one too. It happened at my grandma's house too.
Oh no.
Her house is so freaky. Okay, I have 2. It happened 2 times, and it is always happening to me. So everyone knows that my great grandma Nola passed away recently. And I remember sometimes she puts on this really scented perfume that I know it, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going up the stairs. No one's upstairs because everyone's outside. And I get this strong whiff. And I'm like, oh, whoa, is she nearby? And then I somehow I was like, oh, hi, grandma. And all of a sudden one plant started moving. I was just like, okay. And then I think it was at night. I was getting ready to bed. Everyone went downstairs. I'm the only one upstairs, and it's so creepy upstairs. And I heard a children laugh, and I'm like, oh, it's probably Caden and his friend, because Caden brought his friend. And I go downstairs. They're both asleep.
Oh no.
Mm-mm. No,
I
thank
I was like,
you.
oh hell no, I'm going to bed. Good night. I didn't care. I was like, I'm not gonna fuck with that demon.
I know, yeah, I'd rather see things than hear things. It's kind of I feel like it doesn't really make any sense, but I talked about this in the other podcast, but I heard a ticking noise in my room for a year straight, and it wasn't consistent or anything. It stopped and started. And I remember Corbin said something "Oh, you might have a rat problem." But I don't know. I still don't know what it was, but it was it sounded like a clock ticking, and it floated around my room, and then I don't know. But that's the only thing I've actually heard. But recently it happened twice, I think, where I was in like my living room and the hallway. I like look down the hallway and I see like a shadow like run into one of the rooms that you can like see through the
Oh,
hallway.
nope.
And
Nope.
I know, like it happened when I was with my dad the first time, I think. And I didn't even want to acknowledge it because I'm like, no, I'm just gonna sit back down and continue on. Because like when that stuff happens to me, I don't really want to like, I don't even know, like I don't want to pay
Eat
any mind
into
to
it?
it. Yeah, I don't really want to. But that happened twice, and then recently I was home one day and I was making cookies in the kitchen, and all of a sudden like the kitchen light like turns off, and like it wasn't just like the light cutting out or anything, like the light switch was up, and then when I went to go check, it was down, and that freaked me out so bad. And that's the last thing that's happened so far.
Guys,
I hope nothing
I'm
else
sorry.
happens.
Hold on. I'm just experiencing some random ass sounds right now. I just heard knocking, like little tiny knocks.
It's a little rat at your door.
No, it was scary for a minute. I looked out my window because I heard a big bang outside. I'm like, okay, and I'm just tripping. And then all I heard was this.
No, thank you. I think
It's
we're
on my
all
wall. Oh my god, he's
hyper
here.
aware.
Matthew!
Now I'm
Stop!
scared.
No,
He
but
ran
like
back.
if I were
But
Afton, I'd be like peeing myself because like that's because I
Yeah.
would like I completely understand that mindset of like
Hmm.
not wanting to pay mind to like when something happens. Like you just want to ignore it so that like hopefully like it will go away and like not happen again.
actually, it's probably that haunted doll you bought.
No! I don't like
Stop!
that doll.
I
Or the
know.
monkey. I
I
don't
know,
like the
The
yeah.
monkey
monkey
you
is
have either.
No,
It's
not
like
the
a
monkey. The one that me and Afton went to like a thrift store, and she was like, "Should I buy this?" I said, "No, it's giving me like bad vibes," and she still bought it.
it was like 50 cents under like a pile of junk, and I was like, "Oh, it's like a little ornament doll with one foot." So I bought it, and that's when everything started. So, who knows?
It's the
that
doll. Go burn it.
But she likes Impractical Jokers.
that sounds like a horror movie scenario where like
I
you know
know.
what I mean? Some lady
Yeah.
finds some like it's like a doll for like a really cheap price and she's like, "Oh, it's so pretty. I must take it home."
Oh no.
It's like the
Well,
beginning of a new Annabelle story now.
yeah, if anything happens, you guys will have evidence. I mean, like either way, it ends fine.
Yeah.
We just film you getting
Mhm.
possessed, and that's the movie. Call it a day. Okay.
Okay.
Who wants to go first?
Should it be oldest to youngest?
Oh, Corbin!
I'm not doing youngest to oldest because that means it's me. We flip a
Okay.
coin.
If you don't want to go, I'll just go since it was my idea.
Okay.
Here it is. So originally, I am like the biggest Bigfoot fan. And so I was gonna do Bigfoot, but I was like, you know what? I think it's already proven. Like, let's move on from Bigfoot. So I was looking and I
Gotta step it up.
found something very interesting. It's called the Loveland Frogman or Frogmen, because I guess it's more than one. The description of these guys is interesting. It's not really like much, but like when you get into like the stories, it's like it's weird. Okay. Okay. They have web hands and web feet, and they are walking frogs.
Woo!
They stand around 1 meter tall, or like it says like 3 to 4 feet tall. And
They're so little.
and my favorite fact is that they can withstand cold temperatures without having to hibernate, which is, I mean, that's interesting, an interesting note to take.
That's scary though. Just imagine like it's wintertime and you just see a frogman like running past your yard.
The weird thing is like I don't know if like is it just only Ohio, like they're native to Ohio, or the sightings are only there, but
Honestly, it
um
could be like a curse in Ohio that could happen.
It is Ohio after all.
these guys get up to a lot. Apparently they have the physical ability to use sticks and tools. And they also have an ability, and I saw this in a lot of like illustrations I don't really understand. They have an ability to like use sticks to like set off sparks like a wand.
Huh?
Very interesting.
Wizards.
My source said this means that they have an ability to control electricity. So take I mean, take what you want with that. Would you like me to read off the first encounter?
Yes.
Of
Yes.
course.
At approximately 3:30 a.m., an unnamed businessman claimed to have witnessed 3 bipedal reptilian entities congregating by the side of the road. The man pulled his car to the curb and observed these creatures for what he estimated to be about 3 minutes. During this time, he noticed that these strange beings stood between 3 and 4 feet tall, were covered with leathery skin, and had webbed hands and feet. Their most distinguishing characteristic, however, was their distinctly, quote-unquote, frog-like heads, which the man claimed bore deep wrinkles where their hair should have been. Just as just as the man was about to seal away, the creature stood up and held what the witness described as a wand above its head. The source explained that sparks spewed out of the end of the device and the frog took off. And that's how the legend started. Very interesting.
Dun,
This
dun.
first sighting was in 1955. So,
Oh.
a while ago, they've been around for a while. There's like 3 sightings, and the last, like, only like quote unquote video evidence is not real, and it's like a really bad like guy in a frog costume in a lake. It's so funny. But yeah, I don't know. Not much evidence for these guys, but maybe that speaks for itself. I mean, maybe,
It
they're
sounds
smart.
very, very interesting. It's just like I would want to see more, and I want to know like more like scenes of them. But right now, there's only one, so I'm kind of skeptical
Oh,
of
I have
taking like,
another for you. This
ooh,
one's gonna change your mind.
okay.
At about 1:00 a.m. on March 3rd, 1972, a police officer and this says he chose to stay anonymous. I don't know. I want to be known for that. Was traveling along Riverside Road heading towards Loveland where he saw something that would forever change his life. The officer claimed that he was driving slowly due to the substantial amount of ice on the road when he saw what looked like a dog by the curb. Suddenly, the animal darted out in front of the cruiser, forcing the officer to slam on the brakes in order to avoid a potential collision with the creature. Once the police cruiser came to a halt, its headlights fell upon the prone animal. At this point, the officer described something that seems literally too bizarre to be true. In the span of seconds, this crouched, frog-like creature stood on 2 legs, stared back at the policeman, and then scrambled over the guardrail and scurried down, finally disappearing into the Ohio River.
It sounds like a fan fiction.
Yeah.
I know, this
Like
is
The Shape
chapter
of
1.
Water. That was so good.
He described it as 3 to 4 feet tall and weighing around like 50 to 75 pounds. Do you think it's real? My answer
I
is
think
yes.
so.
I
I-
know it's real.
I believe in the frog people.
Yay!
What I'm curious about because all of these small towns have these like cryptids, right? Like
Yeah.
there's one town in particular that has like a Birdman myth, and like there's like similar to Mothman, which someone else will get into later. Like there was weird stuff going on nearby. So
Mhm.
I'm curious about Loveland, Ohio's attitude towards, the theory of these frog people, or the
Yeah.
notion that they could be around. If there's like a culture that believes and supports it, or if it's a select few people who are like kind of playing into the frog thing.
Yeah, I saw
Mhm.
like I feel like if it was like a lot of small towns, I feel like make up stuff like, to draw like attention and stuff. But
Yeah.
for this one, I didn't see like I expected to see like, like merch or, like stuff like that, like t-shirts and stuff, but I only really found like those three like witnesses and also
Yeah.
the new one with the fake video. But I feel like that kind of makes me believe it a lot more that there is only like a couple documented sightings and not much. Like if it was
Yeah.
everyone was seeing this frog, I feel like I'd be a little more skeptical, but
Yeah.
It
I also
doesn't
feel like it's
seem.
plausible. Just
Yeah,
like,
it doesn't. Oh, sorry.
no, you're good, you're good. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say that it does. Like, I guess what you were saying, how a lot of people haven't, or there isn't much sighting, so it makes it more believable because I feel like with all these other ones, like obviously like Bigfoot or like Man and all that, it could be used as a way for them to like, I don't know, like a marketing tactic, like they were
Yeah,
saying earlier. So yeah, that's all I
I
had to
know,
say.
yeah. I saw like this one town in like Northern California is like the Bigfoot capital of the world, and they go all out for Bigfoot. Like it was on the
Hmm.
BuzzFeed Unsolved episode where there was like the Bigfoot burger and the Bigfoot hotel, but I
Yeah,
haven't seen any Frogman hotel. So
you
I
need to
think
start
it's,
one.
You
yeah,
need
oh
to
my God,
start.
yeah, we should all move to Ohio and
What if
search
we
for this
actually
thing.
see it when we move there? Like we're driving
Oh
down and
my
we like
gosh.
randomly like stop because it looks like a human, but it turned out to be a frogman.
That's so cool.
I'll get out of the car and be like, "Can I get a selfie?" Fucking kills me. Oh, bleep that out. I'm so sorry.
I was looking for like ocean ones because I feel like ocean would be like the most like believable since like we've only explored a tiny bit of the ocean. But
Yeah.
like this
Mm.
was it's close enough to where it's in a body of water, it seems. So I'm like, you know what? I think this guy's real.
Yeah. And then
And
also,
oh,
oh,
sorry, keep going, keep going. Sorry, sorry, sorry.
also the damn it, I lost it. No, I found it again. Hold on. It's that I've never heard of these like frog people before. And I think it's so cool that you brought it up, you know?
Thank you.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
since we talked about the ocean just for a little bit, I'll go to my story of what I'm going to talk about.
Woo!
So, my topic is the Bermuda Triangle. And so it begins like this. The Bermuda Triangle is a mythical section of the Atlantic Ocean, roughly bounded by Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico, where dozens of ships and airplanes have disappeared. Unexplained circumstances surround some of these accidents, including one in which the pilots of a squadron of the U.S. Navy bombers became disoriented while flying over the area. The planes were never found. Other boats and planes have seemingly vanished from the area in the good weather without even radioing distress messages. But although myriad fan oh my gosh, okay, you don't skip that word. Theories have been proposed regarding the Bermuda Triangle. None of them prove that mysterious disappearances occur more frequently there than in other well-traveled sections of the ocean. In fact, people navigate the area every day without incidents.
Mm.
And then this is where it kind of like gets scary for me because I'm just like, no, ma'am. So, the legend of the Bermuda Triangle. The area referred to as the Bermuda Triangle or Devil's Triangle covers about 500,000 square miles of the ocean off the southeastern tip of Florida. When Christopher Columbus sailed through the area on his first voyage to the New World, he reported that a great flame of fire, probably a meteor, crashed into the sea. One night, that a strange light appeared in the distance a few weeks later. He also wrote about erratic compass readings, perhaps because at the time, a silver of the Bermuda Triangle was one of the few places on Earth where true north and magnetic north line lined up. Okay, so I'm going to read three. Well, this one includes two, and it started in 2005 and 2007. On two separate incidents, two Piper PA planes disappeared in the Bermuda Triangle area. One on the 20th of 2005 between Treasure Cay Island of Bahamas and a Fort Pierce of Florida. There were three persons on board. The second incident took place on April 10, 2007, near Barry Island. The plane flew into a category of 6 thunderstorm and lost altitude. Only the pilot was on board and no passengers. 2008, Bryn Norman Islander. A Bryn Norman Islander, and let me just say, this one kind of like got me, and I'm just like, I'm never going to the ocean. I hate it. Okay, so a Bryn Norman Islander, also known as a 3-engine tricylinder, took off from Santiago for New York on December 15, 2008. At around 3:30 p.m. with 12 persons on board, after 35 minutes from takeoff, the aircraft fell off the radar. A massive search operation was launched by U.S. Coast Guards, but the aircraft was never traced again. Its last known location was about 4 miles west of Caicos Island. No debris could be found.
Interesting.
So, in other words, the plane crashed, but there was no debris. I don't know, man.
What I find interesting about the Bermuda Triangle, I guess, is that like, okay, yeah, like planes go like missing, like, you know, like over any ocean or body of or landmass, I guess I should say. But like I don't know, because it's like I'm unsure about my beliefs on the Bermuda Triangle,
That's
but
interesting.
I will say that it is strange that weird things keep consistently happening over this body of water in this specific area, and I don't think we can just chalk it up to like hysteria or like these like psychosomatic physical symptoms and manifestations. I don't know.
In my honesty, I think it's a creature that's like living there, since it said there was a meteor crashing down. However, we don't know if it's going to be true or not, because it could be a magnetic line where it just loses like power and everything. But I feel like they build that triangle because they're hiding something from the government. Like the government's hiding something. Another thing is Amelia Earhart. Let's talk about this. People say that she flew over the Bermuda Triangle and later on was found. People say I saw this before. They said they found her plane that crashed. But in my mind, I'm like, how can like this 500,000-mile ocean wash up a plane at a certain aisle? Like a certain no, like at a certain area that they like be like, "Oh, it's Amelia's plane. We know where she was. She died," and like blah blah blah. But in my eyes, I feel like she survived and went quiet, and she kind of just said like, I'm gonna go secret and I'm gonna live my life a secret way.
Let's take a plane ride over it and see what happens. I thought it was interesting hearing about the magnetic fields and stuff. Like, I have no clue what that stuff means, but I like hearing about like the differences in that area compared to other areas that planes may fly over.
Mm-hmm. Again, this is like something that I can't think of the words, but in the future, when we have better like devices and stuff, we will probably figure out what was like hidden. Like I feel like someone's gonna figure out what's the Bermuda Triangle about. I thought it would be like the biggest, like like the theory about the biggest squid, the Kraken.
Yeah.
It could be something like that, and they're just keeping it off guard. Like in my head, I'm thinking they built the triangle as a gate for the animal not to escape in our ocean.
I
I'm like,
see.
That's a solid theory. Like
I'm
if there's a big creature, why wouldn't the US government want to seal it off?
yeah. And don't forget, it's a magnetic field. So the creature is probably not cooperating with the magnetic, so it like retreats back to the triangle.
I'm on
You know
board
what
with your theory.
if I have this right and the government comes after me,
They're gonna get you. They're gonna be at your door right now. The Men in Black.
they use the machine or whatever to wipe my memory. But like, yeah, what if like there's like some big animal like Godzilla that's like alive and it's in the triangle?
That
Like,
would
I
be
like it.
we don't know.
like there's that movie Pacific Rim with
Oh yeah, yeah.
the kaijus. I think that's what they're called, and they
Mhm.
all are like in the ocean. Basically ocean Godzillas, which Godzilla is a kaiju.
I
Hmm.
love it.
Also, another thing, and I'm gonna stop. If anyone knows the movie Hotel Transylvania, okay, there was Hotel Transylvania 2, and they went no 3. This is 3, where they went on the trip.
Yeah.
Their destination was the Bermuda Triangle.
Do you think their boat crashed there and that's what they're trying to keep people away from?
I think it's a big waterfall. Another theory is a waterfall. Like if the airplanes lose connection and they like crash, I think it's a big area for all the ships and planes just to crash at one area so they can like never discover what's the inside of that triangle. What if it's like hiding something that it could like end the world, or what if it's hiding something that could like start a new virus? What if it can like start new life, or like there's an animal that we never discovered? What if dinosaurs are in that area? What if it's like a safe? What if it's like what if like it keeps flowing to my head?
I like the Hotel Transylvania theory, if you could keep going with that one.
Okay, I have like a test question, but it's only one, okay?
Oh no.
So when I started my topic, so what are the 3 areas that are bounded by the Bermuda Triangle?
I can't believe you wrote a test question.
No, I just came up. It's only one. It's only one.
Uh-huh.
You said the 3 areas.
Yeah.
It's Florida, Puerto Rico, and the Caicos, right?
I'm gonna get 1 point for Ross, like half a point. It's Puerto Rico, Bermuda, and Miami.
Oh, well, Miami, Florida. I said Florida. So.
Yeah.
Oh, Florida, dub.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, not my fault. Yeah, Ross got it right. The 3 areas that are making the triangle is Miami, Florida, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico. Okay, now I want to hear what you two have. I'm curious.
Should I just go then?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. So naturally, being that I grew up on the interwebs, I'm gonna be talking about Slender Man. So there are 2 interesting aspects, I would say, of Slender Man um stories, his stories. But let's first start out with what Slender Man is, what he looks like. So he's usually depicted between like 6 to 15 feet tall, but I usually imagine him as like 7 to 8 feet tall is a good like average, I would say. So he's a very tall human, no hair, no facial features, and his skin is completely white. Um, and he wears a black suit with a red tie. And he also has tentacles, according to some people, that only come out on special occasions. um, so basically, um, there's the Slenderman story, which came out in 2009, but there's also urban legends. And so with the story, it's very simple. You know, there's this slender creature that lives in the forest and kills unsuspecting children and people by psychologically torturing them. But there are also reports, allegedly, dating back to 17th century Germany that say there's a faceless, very tall man that would kidnap children and kill them, basically. So he might be German for all we know. Um,
Ooh.
honestly, the German name for Slenderman is pretty funny. I think it's like It's Der Schlankermann, which is really funny. But I think what's interesting about Slenderman is that there's allegedly stories about him predating the 2009 story, across multiple different countries, and that's including Asian, European, and North American countries as of recently. Um, so there have been a few. I want to call them reports, but it's really hard to say with a cryptid or a creature that's gained so much traction. But there are reports that he can be found lurking around playgrounds, heavily wooded areas, of course, any really desolate streets or neighborhoods. Um, it seems like his target, while he can go for anyone, is usually children, which I think is a really interesting and disturbing element to his nature and his character, and the way in which he kills. Um, which is it's graphic. So if you don't like graphic things, then stop listening. but but he takes his victims and he stalks them for a period of time, and he makes them feel crazy. He'll stand outside of their homes. He'll watch them from afar. He'll, knock on their windows at night, let them know he's
No, oh
watching.
my god.
I'm getting
um,
scared
I know
right
I'm
now.
sitting next to my window.
Oh,
and and he'll basically psychologically break these people down until they're ripe for the murdering, in which he'll kidnap them and then use his tentacles to stab them onto a tree branch. However, European, like German people, say that his victims are found with their organs removed. So that's interesting. And I think so, like, with the not just the urban legend, I guess, but also the 2009 North American introduction of Slenderman. there's there's obviously been a lot of I don't want to say outrage, but a lot of hoopla surrounding this character, and so there's these. I will say that there are allegedly people who help Slenderman get his victims.
oh,
And these people are called, and I quote, proxies. And I personally don't believe these people exist, but some people do. The two girls who stabbed their friend 19 times in the name of Slenderman, they believed that that would make them Slenderman's proxies, that they could be with Slenderman and help them, you know. um, but from my understanding, according to the Slenderman stories, proxies do not live very long once in Slenderman's employ. So I don't know.
it's very interesting because I like how you brought up the case because I was gonna say something about it. Like, there's some people who really believe it, which, um, when I was a child, I really thought I believed it.
I know,
And
Yeah,
me
me
too.
too.
growing up, it kind of made me get scared because my grandma had a cabin in the forest and it was like tall trees.
Yeah.
So it kind of like, messed me up as a child because it's scary. And I watched that movie because they made like a Slenderman movie. And when you talked about like he's stabbing the children with like the tentacles and like put them on trees. There was like a death of a character at the end, and she was like wrapped around a tree, and the tree like consumed her, and she became like one with the tree.
That sounds
So
kind of beautiful.
Yeah.
it's
It's
a
poetic.
it's poetic, but like it's it's just so, I don't know. And then like describing how he like stalks you, makes you like break down, like that's like the type of person he would go after me because I would break down so easily. Like I can't handle like if I hear like a knocking sound, I'll be so scared that I'll cry if I hear it again.
I thought it was super interesting hearing because I thought like when it was all the rage, I remember like seeing it everywhere and hearing all the stories and stuff. I didn't know that it was. I thought that it was just created like around that time, but I didn't know it had been around for so long.
Yeah, so what I personally believe is that the 2009 story that was, you know, written about Slender Man that allegedly created him. I think that that was influenced by other European and East Asian urban legends about a very similar creature. And I think that this person kind of put it all into one cohesive like adaptation, if that makes sense. So I think it was influenced by allegedly real events
Oh,
or stories.
wait. I think I know it. I think I know there's an urban legend where there's like a lady that her mouth is like cut open. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Um
So
mm,
this lady, okay, this is an urban legend. I wasn't supposed to like bring it up, but like it like came to my mind and it kind of sounds similar to Slender Man. So there's an urban legend. I think it's I don't know. It's like somewhere. I think it is in China. I don't know. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But urban legend is that there's a lady with a mask. She'll go up to you and say, "Am I pretty?" And your question has to be yes or no. If you say no, she's gonna stab you with the pair of scissors in her hands. Yeah, and if you say yes, so she'll take off her mask and the corner of her lips will go there's a cut that goes all the way up to her ears. And she'll say, "Am I pretty now?" And if you say yes, she's going to still kill you. And the only way to get away from her is to say, "Am I pretty?" is to make her confused. So that urban legend kind of like made me think of Slenderman just a little bit
yeah.
because her target was children and adults who are by themselves.
Yeah, I definitely think that it could have been influenced by multiple things. And I think it's also interesting that if there are like global reports of him, like there has to be more than one.
I just remember there was a game a long time ago and it was like now looking at it it looks awful, but it scared me when I
Yeah.
when I saw it. It was the scariest thing.
Yeah, it's the one where you collect like the
The
8
papers.
pages.
Yeah, yeah, the pages.
Or like the Roblox one.
The Roblox one.
Yeah, on Roblox, there was like so many Slender Man games. It was like the same thing like the pages, but there was like multiple people and you had to like survive from him. It was kind of like it creeped me out as a child.
Yeah.
It also kind of like affected my like sleeping too cuz I would get like severe nightmares about it.
I
Mm.
definitely had like nightmares about Slender Man and
Yeah,
like
me.
they were like the
Watch.
fake
Tonight
911
we're going to get
calls.
nightmares about all the things we just thought about.
No.
The Frogman's probably acceptable, but
I know I kind of want to see the frogman at my
Yeah,
window.
they seem chill.
this seemed like a person that I would hang out with like a Coca-Cola in my hand and sitting out to the dark night. Okay. We all been waiting for this last one, and it's Cassie's.
I feel like you guys are hyping me up too much. Watch it suck.
No,
No.
it's good. We love it.
I'm so scared. Okay. So I did Mothman, and I guess like his origins are like how people like the first sightings of him are kind of like vary from whoever you ask. He originates in he resides in West Virginia. What a countryman. And I guess the first sighting was in November 15th, 1966, or December 15th, 1967. Those are two completely different dates. But,
It's one of the two.
it's one of the two. And there was, I know there's one sighting where a couple had seen him, and then there had been other ones where just reported him, I guess, hopping around on trees, having a jolly good time. And then there was this one where they were talking about a bridge, and supposedly he had, I guess, claimed this bridge that caused this like horrific accident resulting in like 46, I think, around the 40s of people's deaths.
and they
Dang.
claimed it was Mothman. Yeah. So they associate Mothman with like, this destruction and terror and all that stuff, which I find pretty funny because this is like a man-sized bird, and a lot of these sculptures these statues that they have of him in their town have like he's like ripped, like six pack and all. Like
I was gonna say, what if he's like a JoJo character with like, ooh,
that's how they make him out
honestly,
to be.
honestly, if I had a date with Mothman, I'm gonna say yes.
We're gonna have you on his back while he flies around the town, look into
That
his
is
big,
okay.
beautiful, beady
Aladdin
red
mode, but, like the
eyes.
carpet's not even him. The carpet's just him. All right.
I know, and then all the attention's on you. So imagine that. How romantic. But
He has
yeah.
red eyes. I have blue eyes. Let's make purple.
That's so beautiful.
I loved it. But yeah, so the town that he, I guess, was sighted in Point Pleasant, has like an annual festival, and like everything's like Mothman. And like Afton was saying, BuzzFeed and Sop, shout out to them. They did a episode on Mothman, which I highly recommend. That episode is so funny. But yeah. And I had also found story on Reddit. So I thought it was pretty interesting. At first I didn't really understand what they were saying until the end, and it's actually kind of sad.
Oh, no.
But I'll read it out for you guys. This was posted by Colin the Wolf 08 6 days
I
ago.
love the username.
I do too. I am also a wolf.
Shout out
It's
to Colin if he's
shout out
there.
to Colin. The title is I snuck out one night and saw something unexplainable.
Oh.
All right. Ready, guys?
I'm ready.
Okay. My eyes widened as I saw the gift my dad had brought me. It was an electric bike. I had wanted one for the longest time, and I finally got it. Unfortunately, I couldn't have ridden it because of the snow, and I waited patiently for winter to end. Soon enough, my big break came. The snow melted. I woke up and saw the snow was gone. I ran to my parents as fast as I could. Dad, the snow is gone! I shouted with delight. Well, that's good, honey. Is there something you want to ask your mother and I? He asked. And then they replied with, yeah, I ride my bike you got me for Christmas? The snow is finally gone and I really want to ride it. All right, I guess. Let me set it up, honey, my father replied. Soon enough, the bike was ready to go. I rode it through the yard and it was very fun. I almost fell off a few times. I eventually got the hang of it and my father told me I could ride it on the road. First, I started slow, then I sped up as time went on. Eventually, I started going on third gear, and it was super fun. I don't know what that means, but it sounds fun. On one of the rides, I examined the scenery around me, and then I got an idea. Imagine this area at night. It would be so cool, I said to myself. After a few hours, it was time for dinner, and I parked the bike and went inside. We ate. In my mind, I began to create a plan where I would sneak out at night and ride the bike down on the road. It was stupid, I know. After dinner, I played some video games, and my mom and dad came up to me. We're off to bed. Don't stay up too late, sweetheart, my mother said in a light-toned voice. I got it, Mom, I said. I played games until I felt it was safe to sneak out. I tiptoed into the basement door, and I opened it. Crept down the stairs as quietly as I could and shut the door. I walked over to the bike and took the covering off. We had a garage door and a normal door in the basement. I opted for the normal door as it was more quiet. I opened the door and wheeled the bike out. Then I got to riding. I examined the area. It looked creepy at night, but that's what I wanted to see. I put the bike in the highest gear and flew down the road. I heard the leaves crunching in the woods and stopped looking at the tree lines. Nothing, and I mean nothing, would prepare me for what I saw next. I looked into the woods and saw two big red eyes the size of baseballs looking back at me. I got out of the shocked state and sped down the road as fast as I could. I heard the glass
I heard a gliding sound behind me, and I sped down the road for God knows how long. I finally looked back, and when I saw it, that thing was chasing me. It was black, and it looked like it had massive wings, about 10 feet. I only saw the wings before I turned back to the road, running for my life as I thought whatever was chasing me was trying to kill me. I was going 30 miles per hour. It was fast for me, and the bike began to wobble and spun out. I went flying off of it into the ditch nearby. I could feel the cuts and blood on my body as well as tears drenching down my face. It hurt everywhere, like it was burning with needles being stuck to my skin. I opened my eyes and it was blurry, but I saw the creature looming over me. It looked bird-like. I didn't see a beak. It was black with fur, and I saw two massive 10-foot wings. It looked to be about 8 feet tall and easily loomed over. It looked otherworldly, like it wasn't from this planet, almost as if it meant to look like that, not a mutation. My ears were ringing and my life was flashing before my eyes. I kept hearing the same phrase over and over again. 3 will die, 3 will die, 3 will die. I eventually got up, ignoring the pain, ran to the bike, and sped home. I didn't dare to look back, and I eventually reached our driveway and got off the bike and grabbed the key under the welcome home mat, using it to unlock and open the door. I threw myself down on the couch, crying. My parents ran out, angry and confused. I began to tell them what I had done, but all they heard were cries. My dad checked outside and saw the bike and put 2 and 2 together. He began to scream at me, to be honest, and I deserved it. I began to calm down and tell him what happened, and he told me what I saw was a part of my imagination and it wasn't real. I argued with him that it was, but I couldn't convince him and ran into my room. I cried myself to sleep. I awoke to the beeping, but it wasn't my alarm clock. I eventually recognized that it was a heart monitor in the hospital, and the nurse saw me and yelled, "She's awake! Come quick! She's alive!" I know I should not be laughing. I feel so bad. But
You guys, like, I like how all 3 of you are laughing, but my mouth is like a jaw dropping. Like, that was like.
Wait, hold on. It's not done yet. It said, my dad came rushing in and hugged me. I saw the tears in his eyes, and I was confused at it. I eventually saw my body was covered up in bandages. What happened? Why are you so sad? I asked. I'm sorry, my father cried. He began to explain that he left the stove on and forgot to turn it off. After we went to bed again, the house started to burn, and he was able to get me out. Where's mom? Where's my siblings? I had asked him. He began to explain again. My father had finished up dinner, but was called away by my mother. He had left the stove on and forgot to turn it off. After I came back, he scolded me to go back to sleep. The house began to burn down as he exited the house and brought me out. He went back in but could not find the other siblings or my mother. He hugged me as I cried and repeated, "I am sorry, I am sorry." I looked up my encounter with the thing and found out multiple people had had similar encounters. I came to find the thing I saw most likely was the creature known as Mothman. It's usually seen before disasters or deadly events, such as the Silver Bridge collapse in 1967. I got therapy after and eventually forgot about it, but the shock and fear of the situation has come back recently. I told my husband the story, but he does not believe me about what I am seeing. I have been getting a bad feeling recently in our apartment. I keep telling my husband that we need to leave, but understandably, he tells me that it's just my imagination. The reason I've been so concerned is because every night, whenever I look out of our apartment, I see 2 glowing, big red eyes staring back at me from the alley.
Oh
The
my.
end.
Okay. So. Wow, I'm kind of like in shock because, like, now I know why he said 3 will die, 3 will die. The mother and the 2 siblings. Like, honestly, like, if I don't think it's like a human, I think it's a spirit of, like, you know what I mean? Instead of like a human base, I feel like it's a spirit that tells like what the future is gonna be.
I
You know what I
see.
mean? Because
Yeah.
he predicted that 3 will die, 3 will die, 3 will die. And you know what's funny too? He said it 3 times.
Yeah.
Mothman, if you're out there, please tell me my
Join the
future.
podcast.
Join the podcast. We want to know our future. Am I gonna like get hit by a bus? We'll never
Oh
know.
no.
But
Don't say
it's so
that.
interesting to hear that story. It's just weird how it cut to her coming home and then waking up in the hospital. So that means she passed out in the ditch and then woke up in the hospital?
No, so she didn't pass out. She was like thrown, I guess, and then was able to get up and drive back home, and then went home crying. If that
But
makes
how did she end up in the hospital? And the father said that there was a fire when dinner was done.
Oh, I guess okay, so like what they were trying to say was that when they had gotten home, like even after dinner, he had forgotten to take out
Oh, turn off the
turn off the
stove
stove.
when all the things happened.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, makes sense. Because I was like, it's not adding up.
Yeah.
Adding
It
up
was
right
a
now.
lot of information and I kept stuttering. My apologies.
No,
It was
you're good. But
beautifully
that's so
delivered.
sad. You get traumatized by like a scary 6-pack guy.
Scary.
But and then it tells you 3 will die and you're confused and you're like blurry vision and you wake up and your mother's dead with your 2 other siblings. Like, wow.
Yeah.
That's like heartbreaking. I feel bad if like I really do. But now we gotta search it up. A house fire that happened in the 19.
In Point Pleasant.
Do you think the story's true?
I don't know, to be honest. Like
I-
it's sad and I don't
Yeah.
want to discredit, but like I don't know. I genuinely do not know.
I want to say I don't know because it sounds like kind of like one of those like a Slender Man story. I'm not trying to be
Yeah.
mean.
Yeah,
No,
like
no,
it
no,
sounds like
no.
fan
No,
fiction.
yeah.
It just kind of like sounds like a creepy pasta, but like at the same time, you don't know if it's actually true unless you have evidence of like the house fire that happened in West Virginia in 1966, right? Or is it 1967?
Oh no, they were talking about the bridge and how it was similar. That one
Oh,
was 1967. This one they didn't give like a year
oh,
Yeah.
when the house burned down.
maybe
Hmm.
that's maybe.
Little
Excuse me.
sussy.
I don't want to be mean. I hope it's not fake. I hope it's just true, but like I really feel bad for the person, but I don't know. It sounds sad. Anything with sad stories kind of like make you think like you don't want to feel bad if it's fake or you don't
Yeah.
want to feel stupid that it's like not true.
I personally do not believe this story. However, I think that the people of Point Pleasant, Virginia, is it West Virginia?
Yeah.
Are definitely experiencing something strange with this Mothman, especially because there's that government site nearby that's been like blocked off and abandoned.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
They
And
got
I
some
don't
Stranger Things up in there.
Yeah.
Do you think it's living in that government area? Like he was like
11.
trapped
Yeah.
in there.
Well,
Do you
that's
think
the
he was?
theory. This
You think
the
he's
like
encaged in that area like 11?
Well, the going theory is that Mothman is a result of whatever was going on in that blocked off area, and that he's taking residence there because that's where he was created.
Like Mewtwo and Detective Pikachu.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was on board with the story for the most part, until the end.
Yeah.
The end kind of threw me off, like to where they were like, "Oh," and then I looked out my window and there he was again. Like
Yeah, it
part
sounded
of
like a
that.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like those like those like TikTok stories like Rachel and I were born
my
in
gosh.
2004. I had white hair, she had brown hair, and everyone made fun of me. It's like those type of stories.
Yeah.
They said that Mothman was chasing her. Was it like, did they say like flying
say
or
fly-
running? Because
Well,
I'm picturing like full
running, like,
sprint.
abs
I mean,
and
he's
all.
jacked.
I know, exactly.
Like arms out, just sprinting at you.
Yeah.
He was doing his nightly jog, his patrol.
What if it's actually what if it's actually a jogger
In a
and he's
costume.
like getting chased down by like a wolf and he's telling the kid to like hurry up?
It's a
Or
really
like a
bad
bear.
Bigfoot.
Here.
The jogger's getting chased by a bear and he's scaring the kid to run faster. I'm sorry. If it's a true story, I feel bad, but at the same time, we don't know the year, so.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It seems very
Sucks.
vague and very detailed at the same time.
Yeah.
Also, it's on Reddit.
Yeah. Take that with a grain of salt. But I do like their username because it has wolf in it.
Well, this episode was very fun. My favorite. This was a really good episode. I love this one. I think this will be my favorite one.
This is a
This will be
winner.
my favorite. Yeah, the chicken winner.
Chicken dinner.
My second favorite would be talking about the roller backpacks because I was involved in an accident.
Oh
with
my
the
That
roller.
God.
one's my favorite.
That one was so good.
And then my third was the nostalgia.
We should do a graduation episode once we've all graduated.
We all cried.
Yes. I would not. Happy tears. Get me out of here.
I'm running.
I literally,
And
it
like
was funny.
Mothman.
I texted Afton at school and I was like, I hate it here. I did not sign up for this to come back. It's gonna be very interesting what we're gonna do in the future. This was a good episode. I think this was like my favorite. This is like the one that was a winner.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We have so much to talk about, and I'm excited for the future that we are ready and prepared. So we'll end this here. Thank you for watching our podcast, and for our future, we'll let you all know what we're doing. So this is our
Bye. Oh.
podcast. Goodbye. Goodbye. Sweet
Bye.
dreams. Don't
Bye.
forget about
Bye.
Mothman.
Sweet dreams.